Come on, if you want to cook your chicken, you gotta put it in the pan, baby. Cop that on your custard guts. Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and hope you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. I'm Bushka, welcome back to channel, and today on channel I want to answer another one of the questions that I get all the time. What's your favourite gun? But I want to, as is my want, not really answer the question. I'm just going to use that as a springboard towards another question where I am going to talk for a long time about something that I really like and enjoy talking about. So, here it is. Using the right gun for the right situation. Now, I find it very hard to say X, Y, Z is my favorite gun because all the guns do different things and do them relatively well. There are certainly standouts in each particular field. Sorry, this is me. I got a new iPad Pro 12.9. I'm going to do a bit of a breakdown on the iPad itself because I think there's some definite issues with using a screen this big to play PUBG Mobile, but I digress. The QBZ95 is very good at this. You know, spraying at like 90 to 75 meters and hitting a fair amount of shots on the target with a 3x scope. And you can see, look at that guy. I mean, wowzers, that's pretty freaking brutal. That's a long range spray down. And that's what the 95 does very well. But as you get better at PUBG Mobile, as you come to grips with it in a very much meta sense where you understand the ins and the outs and what does what, you're going to come to the realization that a lot of guns are very, very specialized, and in their field they are completely dominant. And that's why for me I just adore using this Beryl M762. The Beryl M762 and the QBZ share a couple of stats. One of them is that they both have exactly the same rate of fire. Exactly. 0.085 rounds, 0.085 seconds per round. But the difference is the Beryl's round does 45 base damage to a no chest armor wearing target, whereas the QBZ's, like all the 5.56 ARs, does a base 40. So that's 5 more damage, which is 12.5%. That's a lot of damage. And you're going to see it in a very real sense why. Watch this, my gun stops moving. It's because the iPad is so big, it's much harder to actually track targets, and I slid my thumb off the edge of the iPad, so it just stopped tracking. Anyway, I digress. Again, like, man, I could carry on and on and on. But you see, I'm running the Beryl now, and I switched the red dot onto it, and it hits a lot harder. So it's an absolute chain gun. It's a beast, and I'm running it with a vertical foregrip because the vertical foregrip is basically, it's got some massive recoil. I don't feel like it's got the same recoil numbers as you get on PC because quite simply, it's a lot harder to control recoil as only a thumb player than it is with a mouse. But watch this engagement. Okay, so I went into that with about 85% of my health, and I've come out of it with about, what, 15% of my health? So he's taken off 65% of my health, 70% of my health, and I've taken all of his health. That's pretty massive, and that's very much down to the Beryl. We just basically traded hit points. We just traded. And because I'm running a gun that is so good at that up close and personal, that is easily the best AR outside of a crate airdrop for that up close 2 to 3 meter spray range, I won. I won that engagement right there purely because I was using the Beryl M762 versus that guy's M416. Now the M416 is a gorgeous weapon. Like the QBZ, it is very stable as a gun platform, and it is excellent for that mid-range to long-range burst. But I'm not using a gun here that needs to be good at long-range bursts. I'm using a gun that needs to work in the tight confines of an urban area. So I've chosen the Beryl M762, and I'm leaning more and more towards using the Beryl on Sanhok. The reason for that is, and bear with me on this, but this is something that a lot of people don't seem to understand. If you're clever with the way you manage the circle, and if you're clever with actually paying attention to where the zone is going, you will be able to choose the way the engagement plays out. Watch this, by the way. Watch this headshot on this dude. And then a guy rolls up. I headshot the guy in the driver's seat and then hit him in the chest. And then someone else taps him out for the last little bit, and I find him crawling around over there on my right in just a second. I mean, I felt really... Like, how do you take a headshot from this thing and a chest hit and still keep on ticking? He couldn't have had much left. There he is there. So because I am watching the circle and because I've managed it really well, I am going to just force these guys. I'm going to flush them, basically. And this is something I talk a lot about on channel, whether it's TPP or FPP. Managing that circle and using it as your buddy is very, very important. And again, I'm using the right weapon here. This is solo versus squad. So I'm using the QBZ, the QBU rather, which has just a massive base damage for a 5.56 DMR of 54, which is, you know, better than the SKS and just under the SLR. And yet its bullet velocity and its recoil are both so much more manageable than those two weapons. So running this and the barrel in solo versus squad gives me that cover out on that medium range, long range, and close range engagement. And then I'm going to get my work done early. I'm going to leave those guys alone there. I'm going to move onto the edge of the circle, and I'm basically going to wait for them to roll on through. You're also going to see how, as we extend out from boot camp, there is a horrible situation here where I've got to get across this big open field. Now, running around in the rocks of Sanhok is great. In the grass and the hills and all that kind of thing is fantastic, because when you're doing that, you can pick and choose the engagement again. But getting from the fence line of boot camp here across to those houses and that lake area, well, that's not such an easy task. That's a task that can be very, very frustrating. So what I'm going to do is wait. I'm waiting for... There's one of that squad turning up. And watch how I deal with this. That is a bad range for the barrel. So I burst it down. Got very unlucky there. You can see I hit the bloody fence post with one of those. And then we finish him with the QBU. And here come his mates. So we're going to hop out this window, away from them. And again, we're just going to use the barrel to dominate these proceedings. Now, the barrel, I kind of prefer it than the Groza even though it's... The barrel's time to kill, I think, is 0.25 and the Groza's is 0.22. They're very, very close. But the barrel, you can mount a vertical foregrip. And you can mount a compensator. And you can't do those things on the Groza, and look at it just dominate at those kind of ranges. It's such a specific weapon. It's terrible for shooting and spraying at, 100 meters or 75 meters. But if you crouch down too, it will absolutely work a charm. And then we're just going to go back to the QBU. Now, if you're using weapons on every map that are the same on every map, you might want to rethink what you're doing, because there are better ways of doing the business. If you're on Miramar and you're using a Beryl M762, well, chances are you're really not helping yourself. If you're on Vikendi and you're using a Beryl again, well, I've got to say, the chances are that you're really not helping yourself. On those maps, you want to have a gun that can engage up close and personal if necessary, but can really sing a sweet song at that mid to long range, because you are not going to have a whole lot of engagements that are very, very tight. Although, I got to say, towards the end of the game, that can sometimes be a different story. If you can get a barrel and be in the right spot, then you're going to do very, very well. There's two guys on my left here. Watch the barrel work here. This is the M762 just freaking doing crazy stuff. Like, it is so strong. I've got no vest left. I'm sure that I can hear someone, so I pre-fire. You're kidding me. They're actually in the closet? No way. They can't still be in this closet. I think he must have been reviving his mate in there, because one of them went down very, very quickly. Now we've got no vest left. And one bloke left to kill. 21 kills, solo versus squad, FPP, Asia server. Let's see if we can get this thing done. So think about that, guys. All the guns tend to have characteristics that are good for one reason or another. The 5.56 ARs baffle me. They still do. I've asked for some clarification on why they all have the same rate of fire, because they do. Like, I'll have to go and check it again, but every patch I've checked it so far, they've all had the same rate of fire, 0.085, regardless of what the actual armory says, and they all do the same damage, 40 base damage. Unlike the 7.62 ARs, where the AK does 47, the Groza does 47, the Graza, and the barrel does 45. There's a guy right in front of me. Like, he's right at that tree. I miss him completely. I don't know what I was thinking. This was on stream, so, you know, I might have been talking. I'm always talking. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I really enjoy talking about this kind of stuff, but selecting the best weapon for the situation is where it's all at. And that's why quite often on Sanhok, you'll see me run out. If I think it's going to be a jungle fight, I'll run out with 2 ARs. There's the barrel doing barrel things again. I'm Bushka. Look after yourselves. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you want to become a patron and take part in those streams that are regularly going on nowadays. It's patreon.com/thebushka. It's a monthly fee. I think it's $7.50. For that, you get access to all the early stuff that I post up. I've even started dropping thumbnails in the patron chat so people can use those as screensavers. All good giggle. And look after yourself. And as always, stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.